Welcome students. So in this video we are going to talk about how to multiply numbers which are closer to different bases. Now to get this idea I would suggest you that watch the previous videos so that your context is clear. You should be clear about what do I mean by base, what do I mean by different base. But even though you are new to this channel and watching this video for the very first time, I think you will be able to understand, but for better understanding you should certainly watch the previous videos. So to make sense of it, you can look at these examples that I have taken, and I want to get the answer for each of them as quickly as possible. So what is the process that will help us to get very quick answer? To understand this, let us take the first one, that is 996, that I want to multiply by 93. So point number one is that this number is closer to the base 1000 and this number is closer to the base 100. So if you like look at 996, the difference of this number from its nearest base is equal to -4, and if you look at the number 93, the difference of this number from its nearest base is equal to -7, right? Now the answer should be written in two parts, that is left hand side part and the right hand side part. This is the way we have written the answer earlier also, when the bases were not necessarily different, when the bases were equal. So there is a small difference, that to write the left hand side, what we do the cross operation, right? So if I take the number 996, then we subtract -7 into 10. So you might be thinking that why we are multiplying this 10 here, because we are getting a ratio which is the ratio of the bigger base, that is 1000 divided by 100, that is equal to 10. So when we are doing the calculation here, we multiply the deficit of the smaller number by 10 when we are subtracting it from the bigger number. So the answer in this case is 926. This left hand side could also be calculated if I take these two numbers and do my operation. But while doing the operation here, one thing that you need to be clear about, that now I don't multiply this -4 by 10, but rather I multiply the 93 by the number 10, and then we subtract the number -4. So here we get 926. I hope you understood this point. What I am saying is that, let me repeat, that if I am doing the operation with a bigger number, then while subtracting, we are multiplying the deficit of the smaller number by the ratio, right? But while doing the operation with a smaller number, we are first multiplying the smaller number by the ratio, that is 10 here, and then we are subtracting the deficit, that is -4 in this case. As a student, you are not expected to explain all these things. You are just expected to write the LHS the way in which you feel is more comfortable for you. Next thing is that we are going to calculate the right hand side, and to calculate the right hand side we multiply these two numbers, that is -4 into -7, that is equal to 28, right? Now since we have got the right hand side as 28, one thing which we already have seen during the previous video also, that the number of zeros, let me write it because this is an important point, that the number of digits in RHS, right hand side, should be equal to the number of zeros in the smaller base, right gentlemen? A smaller base. What is the smaller base here? A smaller base here is 100. How many zeros this smaller base has? 2 zeros. So how many digits there should be in the right hand side? 2. So that is 28. So what is the final answer? The final answer is, left hand side is 926, the right hand side is 28. That is the product of these two numbers. Okay. Let us take some more example to be very clear about this process. And this time I am going to take the next example, which is like we are taking the bigger number 9994 and we want to multiply it by another number, that is 98. First point of observation is that its base is 100 and for this the base is 10,000, right? What is the ratio? So the ratio is 10,000 divided by 100. These calculations are just I am doing for your understanding, but otherwise you can clearly see that ratio is 100, right? Now how do I get the left hand side? So to get the left hand side, we take the number that this deficit you can calculate. If you want to write it, you can write it. Otherwise, I think by now you are smart enough to do this computation. So this deficit is -6 and this deficit is -2. When I am calculating the deficit, I am calculating the deficit from the nearest base. So 98 minus 100 is -2 and 9,994 minus 10,000 is equal to -6. Now what we do, we multiply this smaller base to calculate the left hand side, that is 98, by the ratio, that is 100, and minus we subtract 6 here. So what we get is we get 9794. 9800 minus 6 is 9794. And what will be the right hand side in this case? Right hand side in this case will be -6 into -2. That is equal to 12. So what is the final answer? The final answer is 9794. That is my left hand side, and the right hand side is equal to 12. We need to ensure that in the right hand side the number of digits should be equal to the number of zeros in the smaller base, and which is true in this case because the digits there in the right hand sides are 1 and 2, and here also we have two zeros in the smaller base. So the answer is 979412. Right? So I hope this is making sense to you. To explain the process further, let me take a few more examples quickly, right? So that there is no scope of confusion. And examples are something that makes the human being perfect. If you are solving multiple examples, right, as many examples as possible, then you can become very quick. So let us take another example, and in this time I am taking a slightly different example, different in the context that in previous two examples the numbers were near to the bases, but this time the number is above the bases. So what is the ratio? This base, closure base is 1000, and here the closure base is 100. So how do you get the left hand side? I think this time you can write quickly. So you multiply and the now here the surplus is +4 and the surplus here is +2. So what you do, you multiply the smaller number, right? A smaller number by what? 10. The proportion. What is the proportion? 1000 by 100. So that is equal to 10. So 10 you multiply by what? You multiply by 104, and then you add the deficit of the other surplus, in this case surplus, that is +2. So what you get? You get 1042. That is your left hand side. And what is your right hand side? Your right hand side is 2 into 4, that is equal to 8. So the final answer will be the left hand side 1042 and the right hand side. But important point to observe here, that in this case we have got a digit 8 which is having just one digit in it, but the smaller base here has two digits, so I need to prefix it by a 0, and so the final answer will be 104208, right? I hope this is making sense to you. Okay, so let us take another example, and this time I am multiplying 95 into 10,014, right? So this is +14 surplus, this is -5 deficit. This base is 10,000, this base is 100. How do you get the left hand side? You multiply the smaller number, that is 95, by the ratio. So 95, and the ratio here is 10,000 divided by 100, that is equal to 100. So you multiply this by 100, and then you add the this +14 here, so +14. So the answer is 9514. That is the left hand side. And what is the right hand side? The right hand side, gentlemen, is -5 into 14. So that is equal to -70. I hope this example that I have taken It is slightly different from the previous two examples. The reason being that in this one of the number is lower to the base and another number is greater than the base. So the answer will be like 9514, and as you know that as a matter of convention, whenever we get a negative number we write a bar over it, so that is the right hand side. We also can see that this has two digits in it, 7 and 0, and the smaller base has two zeros in it, so that is also perfectly fine. But only thing that we need to do here is to make that right hand side positive. So how can you do that? You have to take 1 from this side here, and if you take 1 from this side, this will become 9513, and if you are taking 1 from this side, means basically you are taking 100 in the right hand side, or when you subtract minus 70 from 100, what you get is equal to 30. Right, this is one way to look at it. In case if you want to look at it in a different way, that what you can see is that you subtract this number by 1 and take the complement of this number. So 70 complement, because it is closer to the base 100, is equal to 30. So this is what you get, right? I hope it has made sense to you. So let us take one more example before we wrap up this video, so that you are absolutely thorough through the concept. And see, again I repeat, I do any number of problem, that may certainly not help you. You write it, you solve some more problem for your own understanding, and then decide that whether you are able to do it quickly or not, or what are the challenges you are facing. And in case if you come across any challenge or any misconception possibly that may occur during solving the problem, then you can certainly put it as a comment, so that I can take care of that as well. Now let us look at this problem. This is minus 12 less than the base, and this is plus 12 greater than the base. Here the base is 100, here the base is 10,000. So how do you get the left hand side? You get the left hand side, you multiply the smaller number by the ratio here, and I think ratio, since I am showing you just to be absolutely clear about the process, but you don't have to think about that ratio, what is the ratio, because you can clearly see that it is 10,000 and it is 100, so ratio will be certainly 100 times, right? So the left hand side will be 1 1 2, and then you multiply it 0 0 because you are multiplying it by 100, and then you are going to subtract minus 12, right? You subtract minus 12. So what you get is 1 1, and 200 minus 12 is 188, right? When I'm doing the calculation, you might have noticed I am multiplying the smaller number by the ratio. Another way is that you could also have taken this 9998, the bigger number, and then multiply 100 into this number, that 12, and then add it. So in this case also you will get like 11188. So I think this is a better way of doing it because it is quicker. Now what is the right hand side? So right hand side here is let me write it so that you don't miss. Right hand side is here 12 into minus 12, so that is equal to minus 144, and in Vedic math convention we write it 144 bar. How many zeros are there in the smaller base? There are 2 zeros, so this should have, right hand side should have only 2 digits. So let us finally arrange the term. So it is 11188, right hand side is 144, minus sign. So first of all I have to make it a 2-digit number. So to make it a 2-digit number, I have to take this 1 in this side. So if I'm taking 1 in this side, means I'm subtracting 100 from this. So it will become what? It will be like 1 less than this. So if I subtract 1 from this, I will get 11187. This, because of this minus 1, this becomes 11187, right? And I hope it made sense to you, because this will be like 100th place digit in the final answer. So that is why I am saying that I am subtracting 100. Then you have like 44 bar. But finally you also have to make it positive. So repeat the same process. Take 1 in the right hand side. So it will be like 11186, and the complement of 44 will be 56. So this is how you get the final answer. So in this video we talked about how to multiply two numbers when they are closer to two different bases. Share this video with your friends, like and subscribe the channel. Thank you and have a